There's win. There's oh, we're live. We got the.
Oh, I see the button.
So we're here with Casey Hughes, Coppertail Brewing.
Hello.
The brewmaster. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. Just a rainy day up here in Tampa.
We're just talking about that. See, it's perfectly sunny outside, but like in 2 minutes it could be pouring, and then it goes back to perfectly sunny 3 minutes later. So,
Goes to Florida.
it's to Florida. So I know you came to Florida. I guess I was reading it on your bio. See, that's cheating. When you were 18.
Yeah.
From up north, New York.
Yep, yep.
What brought you to Florida?
A week after I turned 18, I met some people that were starting a brewery in Key West, and that was November of 1995. And was like, hey, I just turned 18. I'm not liking college so much. Maybe I'll live in a brewery in Key West. And that's kind of how I got my start.
It's not too bad of a place to go, man.
No, it's not a bad place. I lived there for almost 8 years.
Oh, it's so awesome down there. The one thing I think about when I think about Key West is like it's awesome to go for a week, and then what do you do after that?
I spent a lot of time on the water. It's Key West as a tourist is way different than actually living there.
Yeah. Most people.
Not all Duval.
Yeah, well, I usually stay away from Duval. There's a lot of stuff right off of Duval and kind of in those back streets. It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And Key West, the beer scene in Key West is growing pretty quickly too. They got the Porch and
2 Cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple other beer bars down there, and places like the Green Parrot are picking up and carrying more craft beer. That's one of my go-to bars when I'm on the island. But a lot of places you see picking up, starting to carry better craft beer down there. And there's a world of beer down there now, and I think it's just you get so many tourists come down that come from areas where they drink good beer that they should have good beer down there, and that's like all of Florida. I mean, when I brewed in Key West, there was not a lot of craft beer down here.
No, Florida's been like the last 5 years. It's been really
exploding.
Anything, and I was actually talking to you, and you're friends with them too, Mike from MIA and Lewis from Wynwood. Was talking to them, and if it wasn't for Lewis opening up Wynwood, what is it now? Not even 2 years, not even 2 full years ago.
Yeah, just 2 years.
Yeah, there was nothing before that. We had a brew pub, a couple brew pubs, but
Titanic,
and then damn, what's the other one? Yeah, whatever. But the production brewery side, there was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, last one we had was Hurricane Reef.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane Reef was probably the last production brewery in Miami.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
And now we're at we've got. I don't even want to speculate because there's so many people that say, oh, I know that this person's opening a brewery, this person's opening a brewery.
Yep.
But we'll see when they actually open. But the fact of the matter is, Florida's booming.
Yeah.
And in comes Coppertail 2014. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. So you come down because most people come to Florida from New York when they're retiring. It's
a good time to be down here. In the beer world, coming from Philadelphia, a huge beer city, it's neat and exciting to see how excited everybody is, and how big the market is down here, and people just really loving good craft beer.
Yeah, and that's really exciting for me too, being on this side of the coin, is kind of watching it evolve and kind of documenting it in a way.
Yep.
But so you came down to Key West Brewing, and what were you doing at Key West Brewing when you came in? I mean, I imagine.
I started cleaning kegs, working on the bottling line. I was their longest employee ever. So I was I was brewing by the time I was 19, and just did a little bit of everything. Built the small brewery, then went on did the expansion, and helped actually take the brewery apart afterwards too. So I was definitely there longer than anybody else.
And so most brewers will say this, but for those people who are actually listening that want to go into brewing, that time cleaning the kegs in the brewery, everyone says that's like the most important time of your brewing career because that's what you'll be doing 90% of the time.
It is, and I got lucky where I did it where I was very young, where I could be 18 and cleaning kegs and not 35 and cleaning kegs.
Right.
It's a lot easier to make the $8 an hour when you're 18 years old.
That's right. And then so Key West Brewery, your time there is done, and you
What's flying
go
fish?
to. Well, were you a brewer ever? You became a brewer there too, right?
The flying fish?
Well,
Or
at Key West.
yeah, I was brewer at Key West. I did most of the brewing for quite a while there.
Right. And so I'm thinking you got there at 18. You're probably not 21 yet, but then you get that brewing job.
I was 18 living in a brewery.
There you go.
I had an apartment inside. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I literally lived in a brewery at 18 years old.
That's awesome. How does that work? I mean, how can they hire someone to brew under the age of 21? There's got to be some quality control, right?
I guess the other brewers did it. I never tried anything for them.
Oh yeah, okay.
Never once.
Yeah, I think the statute of limitations has run on that already, so you can be free and open.
Exactly. Yeah. Drank lots.
So, all right. So Key West Brewery, and then in 2002, you end up going back up north.
Yep.
Did they bring you back up north, kicking and screaming, or you were ready for a change again?
I was ready for a change, and then winter hit right off the bat, and I was like, I miss Key West. But it was nice to move into like a big beer culture city like Philadelphia, where there's just tons of bars, tons of breweries. The culture is huge. Everybody drinks craft beer. You know, places like Monk's and Standard Tap, and just a really impressive beer scene. So I think that I wouldn't be the brewer I am today if I never moved up there to work in a brewery up there.
Did you go straight up to become the head brewer up there, or were you?
No, I was assistant brewer. I came on as, and then our head brewer quit 6 months later, and I took on head brewer, and then was there for almost a little over 10 years, about 10 and a half years.
You're a loyal employee, man.
Yeah, 3 breweries in 20 years. It's not bad. It's a good resume.
That's loyalty right there.
Yeah. To a fault sometimes, but yeah. So.
Do you see anybody else? Again, and this is kind of those questions I think is tailored more towards people who may be following in your footsteps. Do you see other people nowadays doing the same kind of thing, or is it kind of like the rest of the economy, the rest of the job market? It's like, oh, you got to move and move and move and move and find your way up.
In this job, it is. You do have to move because not every town has 10 breweries or something where you can just move to the next brewery and go. To move and expand, like move up in your job, you definitely have to be able to pick up and move.
How were you able to do it? How were you able to do it then with such long periods of time in each place?
I guess I moved up and got into positions where I could keep moving up the ladder in those spots. So I was lucky enough where there wasn't anybody above me where I could kind of make my own way up to the top.
Cool. And so you got all your chops basically in the brewery. There's no formal training here, so it was.
Nope, no school, just all hands-on. I learned under a guy named Jim Patton, who's the founder of Abita.
Oh, well, that helps.
He actually helped start up Winwood.
Right, remember that. And what was the first beer you put your hands on? What was the first beer you had a part in? And then what was the first beer you did all by yourself?
Key West Lager or Sunset Ale. We only made 2 beers at that point, so it was one of the 2 of those. Not a lot of exciting beer down there then. Once in a while we did a beer for Ray Regazio over at the Abbey Brewing. I remember making a Russian Imperial Stout for him, and that was a neat beer.
Oh, he's a cool guy. He's a that what?
He's been in it a while.
Yeah, definitely has. He's one of the he's kind of one of the stewards down here at Craft. Which is kind of cool. He's been around doing it for a little while now.
Yep.
But all right, let's talk about Flying Fish here, because you pretty much killed it there. Medaling at the Great American Beer Festival for IPA, triple, dual, Belgian Strong, a Belgian Chestnut.
That was fun beer.
And then this one I had to ask you about, the Super Friends collab.
I drank a bottle last night.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What is it?
3 bottles left. It was a 100% Brett Citra IPA, and that was like right when Citra first came out. And we took a silver at JBF for that beer, and that was me, Chief for Mythica, who's now starting his own brewery, but last was at Peak Skill Brewing. Southampton, back when Phil Markowski was there. Omegang, and Captain Lawrence.
Oh, nice.
We're all
what does it feel like to win all these medals? I'm assuming. Let's see. I mean, you're a head brewer for how long when you start winning these medals? I mean, it's got to feel ridiculous.
My first, it was kind of funny because my first beer that I wrote, the Exit Series, won gold at GABF. So it was kind of fun. The first beer they let me brew by myself took gold at GABF. So I was pretty happy with that.
That's what beer was that?
Exit 4.
Oh, Exit 4. Okay. Cool. That's pretty insane, man. And then how does Men's Journal get their hands on your beer to say that you had the best Belgian beer in America?
I don't know. It was a fun award, but I don't think I had the best Belgian beer in America. There's definitely other guys making better Belgians at that point. But my roommate at the time was a PR agency, so that kind of helps. She always got me in the good spots.
Yeah, and I think you just gave us a PR response too, man. You just gave a political response. Oh no, I want it, but.
It was an honor to get that message.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Because that had to bring you some major exposure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was the start of the Exit Series. It was kind of an idea that I came up when I was down with in Key West, where it's mile markers, and then when you move to Jersey, everybody's like, "What exit are you from?" So the owner and I came together with that idea and kind of let me make my own beers and have fun and give me free range and let me make a couple really fun, neat beers.
Cool. That's kind of like the brewer's dream, right? An owner who lets you have hands.
Yeah. Well, that was once in a while. I have free range.
And it's got to be different when you get to a brewery that, I guess, we'll talk about Coppertail in a little bit, but it's got to be different when you get to a brewery that's focused on expanding its distribution, because you got to brew those 3 or 4 constant beers, boom, boom, boom. There's got to be a different perspective you go into it versus like a smaller brewery that never has that intention, right? There's pros and cons to each, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure at the smaller brewery you're not as maybe you don't have that maybe the financial.
Yeah, we're the best place now. I can make whatever I want. I mean, it was funny we were talking about our draft list today, and I think I had a session IPA, an IPA, a double IPA. 5 different saisons on and 5 different Berliners on, plus Stone Crab Stout, and we had 5 collab beers on too. So it was kind of a fun draft list with that.
Is that the key to kind of nowadays in this market where we're at now, where everyone's kind of demanding these tons of different styles? Is the key to expand that portfolio from the start? Where you're producing a bunch of different styles and putting them on. Or this may be kind of answering myself or not, but really focusing in on those 3 or 4 that are going to be your namesake, and then every once in a while you can give people some other stuff.
Yeah, but we concentrate on our core 4, but I like to have fun with a lot of the other stuff too, and we're playing around with 750s quite a bit. So the plan is to knock 750s out every once in a while. Kachina Smash, our next one we're putting out is an IPA, and then we're going to do another new saison that was aged on, plum cots. It's a plum apricot hybrid.
Nice. I was just going to ask about the Kachina Smash IPA. What does that name mean?
It's a Swahili word for to build. But it's a friend of mine who used to work at Iron Hill Brewing Company, started a new brewery called Two Stones Pub. So we did this beer with them as a collab IPA, and just a crazy hoppy, kind of in the same vein as Bruce Banner, but a smaller, about 7.5%. But just big, aggressive hops. We dry hopped it 3 times and put 400 pounds of whole leaf in the hop back for it. It was a pretty aggressive, fun hoppy beer. It's all mosaic.
Oh, nice. The question I was going to ask you before we move on, I want to get into Coppertail, but is that triple that you won that Men's Health thing?
Different beer.
Any relation to the Unholy?
I mean, it's the same idea. There's definitely quite a bit of differences in those beers. Unholy's a bit more aggressive, all different hops, and a little bit different malt bill. But in the idea, it's a hoppy triple. I like that style. I like the Belgian. I like the hops. I think it's a neat blend of the two of those.
Cool. We've got so at Coppertail, you guys have this really beautiful building, and we got a chance to spend some time there a couple months ago after the Hunapoo Festival. Got to drink a few of the beers there. A few to my detriment. Actually, when the picture that I have saved in the phone for your name has that picture. For those of you can't tell right now, but Casey's like 8 feet taller than me. So I had to take a picture where he was like kneeling and I was on my tippy toes.
That's right. We look the same height.
Yeah, and then we were the same height. Yeah. So so we got to try a bunch of the beers, and I want to get into those beers. But the first thing right off the bat is the tap room is just beautiful. The brewery is beautiful, and then there's this really cool, massive space where you've got fooders and barrels. And we were talking some about the history of the building, but I think it'd be a cool thing to talk about here if you can give us like a little history of the building.
Yeah, the building was originally built in I think 1908 as Hellman's Mayonnaise, and then it's been expanded on. It was turned into Sevilla Olives, and then there was a bunch of not as exciting or fun places in there, and then we took it over and stripped one building down and built a brand new one, and saved a lot of those materials for when we built the new brewery. Our tasting room has the old steel from the old building. It has the brick from the street behind us. It's got the rail line that used to run through the brewery. It has the foot rail in there. All the bar and all the woods from Arturo Fuentes Cigar Factory. We try to, keep a lot of neat and old, but keep it industrial too.
Is that's kind of like an ode to Tampa almost, because Tampa's, it's got all those really old cigar buildings, old manufacturing buildings, and people are repurposing them now. And I think it adds so much to the character of Tampa. I mean, I love Tampa. It's such a cool place to be. But because it's got that kind of like old school Florida charm.
Yep.
People need to stop calling it the armpit of Florida, all right?
The lady who designed our building, Kelly Shore, she has a salvage place here and has all sorts of cool stuff all the time. She did a great job of the building. I think with the old beer cases and where the bathroom wall is all kind of neat, where it's the ode to old breweries from 30, 40, 50 years ago.
How does the artwork that you guys have tie into the whole theme of the brewery? I mean, is there a theme that you guys kind of went for with the brewery? I mean, the artwork's awesome. I'm going to post a bunch of pictures from my visit on Hunapoo Day along with this on the site, so if people want to see that. But the artwork's really cool. Where did that come from, and how does that kind of tie everything together?
We try to keep it all like seafaring, with the free dive, except for I guess the Unholy, but Wheat Stroke and Night Swim, they all kind of stick on a seafaring thing. And Evan Harris is our artist, and he makes just some really cool, out there, neat design stuff. Very intricate, neat thing.
Where did you guys how do you find an artist like this? Because that's one thing that's really, for example, I kept asking you about Men's Journal, right? I mean, because it's like a thing that's like, part of this is catering to the people who only care about the beer stuff, like the beer nerds that just want to know about the beer and want to know that there's a good product. And part of it's catering towards people that you're trying to bring in to the craft market, people who are going to take the Men's Journal article over a GABF medal potentially, right?
But I think we can get both those people too. That's kind of my approach,
Right.
Make some really good beer. You can have people that are beer nerds, and the normal drinkers will be like, "Wow, I've never had a triple with hops," or that's a neat dry IPA, or there's a lot of good beer down here now, and I think it's to see the change that Florida's had in the past 5 years. You do get both those people. We get people in our tasting room that are like, "Wow, what is this beer?" We're like, "It's a Berliner Weiss," and they're like, "I've never had this before, but I really like it." So.
Yeah, but what's cool about, I guess, what I was getting at with the artwork is the artwork, I think, is so important on a new brewery standpoint because it's eye-catching. I mean, it's really cool. Did you actively go out and find it? Did you see other artwork of his and say, I need to have that artwork? Or
Kent had, I think, some art from him, and then got with him, and then when I saw some of his work, I was like, this stuff's amazing. And when we got all the labels and 6-packs in and everything was final, I was just like, this is, really neat, like nobody else's labels. And I think, they really stand out on the shelf when you see them, just because the artwork is so cool.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't seen it, I'll have it on the site, but just Google the bottle labels. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And then if you actually go back, and so when you walk out of the tap room into the brewery, there's like that little room kind of like around the left.
My photos? Oh, with the front tap room? The old tap room?
Yeah, when it's got that huge wall art.
Yeah, we actually have all new murals put in the brewery, too, that has a little wall art in there now, too.
Oh, cool.
So that unholy thing got all redone in the new tasting room.
Nice. So I'm gonna put a picture of that up, because I thought it was really cool. All right, so the core lineup now is Wheat Stroke, Unholy, Night Swim, and Freedive, right?
Yep.
Freedive for IPA hopheads is such a ridiculously clean, awesome, aggressive beer. That's just being a hophead. That's my favorite beer. What beer are you most proud of on that core lineup?
I mean, I drank a lot of Freedive. I think it's just a neat beer where, again, you don't have to be an uber beer nerd to like that beer because the bitterness is low, but it's got a large amount of hops in it. But I think if you're a beer nerd, you can like that beer, or if you've never had beer. I mean, a lot of people are like, I've never had I always hate IPAs, but I love this beer. And I'm like, maybe you just like a different style of beer, but it's...
Right. So that's the thing, too, because the Brews Banner is it's just a huge, awesome, flavorful beer. But it doesn't kill your palate. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's 10%.
Right. But so is that all? And this is that all kind of like later edition hops? Is that you?
It's a lot of late edition hops, utilizing the hop back and multiple dry hops and a lot of late edition stuff. We dry hop under pressure. I think it's the old process of how we do all of our dry hopping.
You mentioned that you used, I think, did we talk about it before? No, we probably talked about it on here, but the Kachina, right, is going to have 400 pounds of whole leaf hops.
It was for 100 barrels. We had about 400 pounds of whole leaf.
And that's how many? Is it?
It was like squeezing the wort through a giant hop brick. It was. It smelled pretty good in the brewery though.
It had to be fun not only to do but to clean.
It might have broke the pump on the hop back. We got it fixed.
And that's the reason why you're going to charge more on the beer.
We did a beer before that Good Ideas was a session IPA that we did with Brian Strumke, Stillwater Brewing. So that was kind of a neat beer, too, that we did a big, crazy, hoppy, hop-back beer, but it had it only be 4.2%.
Awesome.
But, yeah, I love having that big, chewy, like you're chewing on a hop pellet, citrusy, fun, big hoppy beer.
Yeah, that's I keep bringing it up, but that's Brews Banner. It was just awesome. You guys just released that in 750s too. Is that going to be kind of like a regular 750 or?
No, we're going to rotate them around. That beer will come back out again. But the next beer in a 750, I think, is Captain Jack Stone Crab Stout, the collab with Tequesta, and then we'll do the Kachina Smash after that.
Cool. Talk about that Stone Crab Stout because I got to try that thing because it just sounds crazy.
It's a fun beer. I made a couple oyster stouts, and Fran at Tequesta and I have been friends for 20 years. If you ask him, he met me when I was 12, but I was 18 and brewing, and he was brewing at Kelly's Caribbean. And we were always talking about making a stone crab beer instead of an oyster stout, making a crab stout. And my old roommate, Jack Davis, is a commercial stone crabber down in the Keys. So we hooked up with him, and he got us stone crab claws. And the first time we did it at Tequesta, and we boiled the stone crab claws in the wort before hopping it, and then took them out and gave them to all the people at the bar for a neat surprise. And that was about 40 pounds. For the batch we did at our place was 150 pounds, and it was just lots and lots of stone crab.
How does that taste? I mean, it's like roasty, but then it's got that soft, like kind
salty,
of
like salty little brininess. That's the biggest thing. You just get like that mineral quality out of that stuff.
Cool.
Salty out. There's more salty than minerally. Oysters you get a lot more mineral calcium, but stone crab is more just salty.
Yeah, because stone crabs have a more delicate taste than an oyster. I mean, well, maybe delicate is the word, but more of a, like I said, much more subdued flavor than an oyster, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
So, you've done a lot of collaborations. You mentioned a bunch during our conversation now, but you did one recently with MIA Brewing, Crossing Streams. Awesome IPA with some really funny artwork on the label.
We like to stick with the funny artwork. Mike and I had a lot of fun making that in Piro. Those are just really good guys down there, and that was kind of like out drinking at QS Beer Fest. We're like, let's do a collab and kind of throw it together, and that's kind of how I work. Just if we're hanging out and want to do something, we'll do a collab.
Do you think are collabs important for a young brewery to kind of help spread their wings around? But before like your distribution hits those places, you've now got a beer in those places people can try, or is it just something you like to do?
Oh, it's something I like to do. I think it does help, but it's kind of just, it's fun to do. It's fun to get together with people. Some of them are like fun for new market things, and some are just like, hey, let's go make some beer. We've been trying to do this for a while, and now we have the opportunity to do it. So.
Do you end up learning? Do you feel like you learn a lot from these collaborations, kind of getting into other brewers' heads? Is that kind of like a?
You learn different tricks and different things, and I mean, it's brewing. Everybody's always doing something different and new, and it's if you're not learning, you're not doing it right.
You at Coppertail, you guys, I think your focus, at least originally, was Belgian styled or inspired beers.
Belgian and IPAs. I mean, I filled barrels. I've had barrels filled for 2 years right now of some Belgian farmhouses that I'm still waiting another year till I break them out. But I tried to make sure that on grand opening I had barrel aged beer that was a year and a half old on the day we opened. So one of the first things I did was fill barrels when I got there, just because I knew in a year and a half, 2 years we'd be opening. It kind of need to have stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, everybody needs. It's funny you said everybody I feel like everybody feels that they need to have a barrel aged beer now. It's just an expectation now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to get it kind of going with my foeders going, and I wanted to get some good aging on some things and be able to blend back and do some proper blending on beers. And doing that just means getting a start early.
What do you have in those foeders?
One's a Belgian Golden, and the other one is a French farmhouse.
Cool. And then those have been sitting there for a while too, I think. Huh?
Both with a variety of bugs, lacto, Brett mix.
Do you think that's the kind of the future? Is going back to like the traditional styles, sour beers, barrel aged beers? You think that's kind of like the future of brewing? I mean, it seems like. Or do you think it's more like a trend, and then we're going to continue to have these IPAs, and we're going to be the focus?
It's always changing. Some breweries do sours very well. Some breweries don't want to do sours. I think it's kind of a niche. I mean, there's you asked this question 5 years ago, and everybody like, oh, you don't make a Russian Imperial Stout, or you don't make a double IPA, or there's always something new. Session ale, session IPA. And hell, I make a session IPA, a Russian Imperial, and a sour beer, so try to have a little bit of everything. It's just fun to play around. I mean, the craft world is always changing, and it's always fun to just try new beers and see what other people are doing and have fun with it.
The other thing is, and that's another cool kind of perspective is what's everyone doing, because I think it may lead me into the next question. Regardless of it, I'm going to ask anyways. We were talking beforehand that it's and Tampa's the area in Tampa, Tampa, St. Pete, I guess we'll call it the Bay Area.
There
Isn't really it's not at the point where a city like Denver is, where there's a brewery like on every single corner, or Asheville, but it's at the point where there is a lot of really good breweries. Kind of Florida's poster child, cigar cities right down the street.
Yep.
How does a brewery open in an environment like that? Is it healthy to have more breweries in that kind of environment? Is it tougher to open in that kind of environment?
Oh, I think it's healthy. I mean, Cigar City was super helpful and friendly to us opening up. We try to do the same to anybody else that's opening up that's new. I think it's good. The more breweries, the better. It's good competition. We're all fighting to get the Bud Miller Coors off. We're not really fighting each other as long as we keep together like that and learning and just there's so much good beer here. There's so many good breweries.
How long do you think it's going to last? So that this is the cynical me. That's that sentiment that there's more good breweries and the competition's healthy, because there's going to be some bars that only have 10 or 15 tap handles, and so how does someone in your perspective balance that collaborative spirit that let's help each other out with, well, damn, I got to have my beer at that bar, and I'm not going to let
I think in the end it all comes down to quality. As long as you're making good quality beer that you like, you should be able to keep a tap handle or at least rotate through on a daily basis. And again, I think there's a lot of the big brewer taps down here that can still be moved and replaced by some craft bars. It's things that I saw I remember in Philadelphia, front of mine's bar at the first Philly Beer Week. I was like, why don't you take Miller, Yingling, and Budweiser off? He's like, no. That'll never happen. People will riot. So for Philly Beer Week, we did that for a week. And at the end of the week, I'm like, you putting those back on? He's like, no. He's like, we can make craft so much better. He's like, nobody complained. I'm like, I told you so. So now that bar is like one of the top craft bars up there. He's just like, I'm all in craft. Like,
there you go. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of bars are really hesitant to make it a locals only kind of thing. I mean, you've got your niche bars that do that, but and they are kind of worried. But again, you're producing beers like Free Dive that a person that says, "Oh, I don't like that bitter stuff. I don't like the IPAs," gets it and they go, "Whoa! There's tons of flavor here. You can tell by far superior, flavorful product." I mean. And I'm gonna caveat that answer because I always tell people the brewers at Anheuser-Busch and at Miller are great brewers.
They're amazing brewers.
They're yeah. I mean they're top in their class, but they use kind of corn and so
it's why they have 10% of the market or whatever. It's kind of there's not a lot pushing them away from that yet. But some of those you see a lot of those guys jumping ship from the breweries too. Mitch Steele at Stone, Phil Leinhardt at Omegang. All those guys are all ex-AB guys.
Right. Seventh Son, Devin and
Devin worked at AB. Justin worked there.
Yeah.
New Glarus. Dan Carey was a Miller guy. Those are all breweries. People aren't like, oh, those guys are like Bud breweries. Those are very respectable breweries with very smart, talented brewmasters.
Yeah. It's because they got that attention to detail, and that they also have the ability. I mean, it's the funding behind it is amazing, but that's kind of it. I mean, it's the attention to detail and that focus on quality, consistent product. I think there's a lot of breweries that are opening up they're like, all right, I brew a great IPA once every 2 batches, but people won't tell. It's the ability to be consistent, and I can say that. You may not want to say that, but
people want to drink same beer. If they like a beer, they want to be able to drink it every time and have a taste.
Right. What would you say since 2014 opening? Because here we are until 2015. You're most proud of Coppertail so far?
Open the new tasting room was pretty big, but beer-wise, Bruce Banner was a fun beer this year. Just playing around with some of the Berliners has been fun. I just did like a Petrus Pale Ale clone sour IPA, wood-aged IPA. Just got done brewing today. That'll be available in about a month. And that was kind of like Chris from Green Bench, who's been a professional brewer for a couple of years, but was a big home brewer before that. Kind of inspired me on that beer. He did a beer called Surrealist. It was a hoppy IPA that I thought was really good.
Chris is doing some awesome beers over there too. See, there's so many breweries up there. You guys bounce ideas off each other. It's great.
Yep. You get all the great farmhouses out of Bob up at St. Somewhere. There's just everybody's kind of got a different approach and different neat beers. And I don't think any of our beers of all of us are the same. Everybody does kind of a different take and different flavors and styles.
Cool. What can we expect from Coppertail the next year versus the next 5 years? Is there any goal you have set?
Not building anything new. 2 years of construction. I want to not build anything new for the next year. Just keep selling beer in Florida. I mean, selling it, expanding in Florida. That's my biggest thing is just, bringing more good beer to the people in Florida.
You're coming down to Miami soon.
We just got a beer down to Miami and South Florida. I think we're from Boynton Beach down to the Keys. So we'll be sending more beer, I think, in a week or two down there. And there will probably start being some of the special one-offs coming with that also.
Cool. Yeah, we're going to need it at Box Elder next month.
That's right, your party. I'll make sure something down for that.
That what?
I'll make sure we get something down for that.
Yeah.
Craft Commander keg will make it known.
Yeah, there we go. I'm excited. I tell people time and time again, there's a lot of breweries that are really good that are opening up in Florida. There's a few breweries that I'm extremely excited about, and Coppertail is one of them.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't had the chance to get over there, next time you're in your Tampa, which is in or near Tampa, make your way over. I mean, the tap room is just beautiful. You can sit outside. You guys normally have food trucks out there, right? And
yep.
You can eat out there. And from what I remember, it was dog friendly out there.
We're dog friendly. Yeah.
So there's really no excuse if you're in the area. I mean, unless you have a cat, I don't think you can bring a cat on a leash.
I mean, if you can get a cat on a leash, you can probably bring it in.
So, but yeah. So look, man, I just thank you for taking the time to sit down. I know you guys are busy.
Thanks for having me on.
So everybody, go pick up the Coppertail beers. Head over to Coppertail Brewing. Say hi to Casey. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. Be ready for him to be a lot taller than you, probably, because
I'm only 5'8".
Yeah, right. You know what's scary is I'm 5'8". So what does that make you?
4.
See, damn it. Couldn't have shared that height a little bit.
I'm 5'8".
You're 5'8" in the picture on my phone.
Or you're 6'4". It's either one.
Exactly. There you go. We'll go with that one. So, anyways, thank you, man. Thank you so much for the time. And Coppertail Brewing, Casey, go check them out.
Sounds good. I'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Cheers.
Yeah.